How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another Dokkan Battle video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to run an extreme physical team without the use of cooler, and this does rely on you having a few farmable units. So yes, we are going to be making the farmable units a bit useful, and we're also going to go ahead and grab a cooler friend. So that is the most important thing. Make sure that you do have a cooler friend, and I'm hoping that I can find one with ease at the very least. And there we go, super attack 10, just make things easier for me. There we go, super attack 10. Free potential system buff. So this is the team that we are going to be running, and I am going to be going over the rotations that I'm going to be using as well. But the team I used before, this is actually my second time recording this, and the first time round I ran Broly and Sin Shenron, because of course Sin Shenron does have Fear and Faith and GT with a Mega Shenron. You have Broly, who has Prepare for Battle with Goku Black. But the reason why this team works so well, I just quickly replace these guys and put Broly and Sin in, just so I can go over the team a bit. So for this team in particular, the reason why it works is because of the buff to Goku Black's passive, because of course he does give the free key to all types. So every time Goku Black is up, he's going to be given, again, the free key to every single unit in your rotation. But the rotations that I was running were Goku Black, Omega Shenron, and then of course the unit in the first slot, which was going to be Broly, the Goten, or it was going to be Sin Shenron. And that wasn't too bad on that particular rotation. When you have Fizz, Goku Black, Omega Shenron, and that last unit, it's not bad because Goku Black is a free key. He also has Prepare for Battle and Fear and Faith. So Fear and Faith he is going to share with Sin Shenron. But again, Sin Shenron is going to be in that last slot. So you're most likely going to be put in Black in that first slot. Omega Shenron in the second slot. So Omega Shenron is going to be getting the key from Black's Fear and Faith, the key from Black's passive, and then he is also going to be getting the GT link and the Fear and Faith link from Sin Shenron as well. So Omega Shenron is basically guaranteed to super attack, and then you have Goku Black, who is most likely going to super attack as well from key placement and just, you know, the other things that he provides to himself, as well as the links. But since Shenron super attacking isn't that much of a priority, because he just isn't meant to hit hard. He's just basically there for the links. And then of course in the next rotation you would have Full Power Frieza as well as Final Form Cooler, who in some situations would struggle to super attack. 99% of the time they were super attacking once Goten was in the rotation, but if Sin Shenron or Broly was there, that is where they really started to struggle. It's just because Broly didn't provide anything, and even it's, you know, Sin Shenron, because Cooler doesn't have Fear and Faith, Full Power Frieza doesn't have Fear and Faith. The only links that they really share are the attack links that, of course, are the Frieza Clan ones, as well as Big Bad Bosses, and the main key link is going to be Strongest Clan in Space. So they were super attacking consistently, but not in certain rotations. So as soon as Goten was in that rotation, easy super attacks, which is why I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Broly and Sin Shenron. Granted, some of you may actually have Boo, and he may be, he is way more beneficial to run than some of the units that I'm going to be running, but I'm going to be running Full Power Frieza. He can super attack early, and of course he does have the Strongest Clan in Space link, and, wait, does he? No, he doesn't. But I'm going to be running, before this team in particular, I'm going to be running King Cold. He has the Strongest Clan in Space link, and he also debuffs, so that is going to be a nice addition to the team. It's not like the team needs debuffing, but again, because I don't have the Boo, this is probably going to be one of the better setups. And then I'm going to go ahead and add, I'm just thinking now, I think this, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add Adri 17 as well. Adri 17, pardon me. So this is a team that should be working really well. And again, those first slot units aren't going to be mattering too much. And the King Cold himself is actually really good. Adri 17, not too much, but he does at the very least have Nightmare, which is a good attack link. Of course, as soon as I get those rotations to work, or the right rotations that I want, which for the most part are there, it should be fine. So again, start things off. Instant 4 key for Full Power Frieza. We have the super attack with Cooler, and I could go ahead and actually super attack with Goten here, but I'm not going to because it's just unnecessary. I just want to apologize for the long talk at the start, but I just wanted to go over how this team works, and of course what you need to make it work. Again, if you have the new Super Boo, go ahead and replace Andrew 17, but for the most part, definitely run a team like this. You may even want to run a hero. Granted, you won't get a boost from the Cooler pass. Well, you will get the 50% from Cooler, and of course the 1 key, but it's just way more beneficial to run villains. So in a rotation like this, again, no problem super attacking with the main units, and Goku Black is going to be the main unit here. And I'm actually going to keep King Cold in that last slot there. I'm going to keep the Andrew 17 round just because of that Nightmare link. But of course, as soon as we get Omega Shenron's coming out with Goku Black, that is when the real rotations are going to come out. And I hope you guys do enjoy the video, because I had a lot of fun making this team and just playing around with it because Extreme Physical just seems like such a fun team to run. Unfortunately, I did not get the cooler, which is, of course, one of the reasons why I'm doing this. But if you want to see videos like this for the other teams, just let me know in the comment section down below, and I will do my very best to do so. But this is definitely one of the teams that you can play it around with a bit more. And this is where you really start to struggle. And you see the struggle because for some reason, and that was probably really loud, I apologize about that. For some reason, they didn't give Cooler Fear and Faith, which is extremely annoying because that Fear and Faith link would have made a massive difference. And that is one of the reasons why Extreme Physical was a good team, but it was like, it's not quite there yet. It needs a bit of a support boost, which of course they got from the new Boo. But on Global, it doesn't really matter that much because of Goku Black's passive. And of course, the additional Boo. So it helps out that team massively, but the thing that makes the biggest difference here is Goku Black's passive. On JP, you couldn't run this team. Absolutely no way that you could run this team consistently, or just super attacking consistently because of the fact that Goku Black does not have his passive. The fact that he gives the free key is just such a massive increase, and it will just allow the team to work so much better, and it's one of the reasons why you can run double merge and Masu on the global version of the game. That increase has made such a massive difference. And now, of course, we have this. So, that's one super attack. And that's the second super attack. And they're going to save these orbs. So you can see that with these units in particular, I am super attacking consistently. That additional boost from King Cold is just making a massive difference. And now that I think about it, it may be... I think I was wrong in saying that you should play 17. Because at the very least, 17 is actually going to give you consistent orb changing. Whereas the key boost, what's his name? Whereas the key boost from King Cold is nice, don't get me wrong, but it just isn't providing as much. So, I take back what I said. If you have the Boo, don't replace 17. Replace King Cold instead, because 17's orb changing is way more valuable than that 2 key that he provides. Granted, you have the debuffing and such from King Cold, but that's just not worth it on this team because you already have enough debuffing with Omega Shenron and Goku Black. But when it comes to like just pure like key placement and just super attacking consistently, 17 is going to be working much better, and he also has the Nightmare link, so keep that in mind. Take it back, definitely get rid of 17, definitely get rid of King Cold in place for the Boo, if you do in fact have him. And I am going to go ahead and quickly heal up here. But now I finally have the rotation start 1, which is of course what I wanted to show off from the very start. And I believe this is the Nightmare link, I could be wrong. Is Cooler going to super attack here? Yeah, I thought the key placement was a bit bad. So in a situation like this, like, key placement wasn't exactly the greatest, but I'm still going to be able to super attack with at least one of my units. And this is one of those one-off situations where the key placement just didn't happen to fall the way that I wanted to. But again, you have to keep in mind that Cooler can get a double super attack, so if you don't super attack the first time, he has a chance to super attack the second time, of course. And now we have the Goten, just doing what he can. And again, the units in those first slots don't really matter too much, but on a rotation like this, no problem super attacking, thanks to that passive and the fact that they share so many attack links with each other. And key links, of course. Yeah, I will say that King Cold is a better option than Broly and to Shenron, just because he, at the very least, gives something to Final Form Cooler, as well as Full Power Freezer. But when it comes to this rotation, not so much. But again, you want to focus on the rotations that normally would struggle to super attack. And there we go. And of course, you do want to keep Full Power Freezer and Cooler together because they are one of the best partnerships on this team without a doubt. And I accidentally brought that up. My bad. And we have this rotation. So let's go ahead and super attack with him. And then let's grab the orbs with Full Power Freezer, who isn't going to super attack, but it's not going to matter too much because, of course, we have Cooler. And again, it just came down to the fact that the orbs weren't exactly in the right place. But as long as we are super attacking with the main units, this team is going to be working pretty well. Because this team is basically made to focus on the first 2 units in your rotation anyway. So let's go ahead and put Goku Black here. And we should get a Dokkan mode. So this turn is done. Just the other rotation I have to focus on. By far, after like all the times I've used this team, which hasn't been many, but I've taken quite a few events. rotation that struggles to super attack the most by far is the full power Frieza and Cooler rotation. But for the most part, it is fine, especially when Goten is there. With 17, there may be a few situations where the orb placement isn't the greatest, but it does work. And I'm just thinking now about the units on JP. If you have Rearers, this team is going to have no problem super attacking for the most part. Again, Goku Black doesn't have the passive that could let the team down a little bit, but for the most part, it's fine. Now we have the other rotation that we want to try out. We have the boost from King Cold here. And, so that's what, 4. Gonna have to go ahead and grab these, and the agility orb is gonna come down. And we are going to super attack with everyone but King Cold. I was considering running Mecha Frieza, but the problem with him is that he doesn't have the strongest clan in Space Link. And you have to keep in mind that Frieza can also, well, that Frieza in particular can super attack early. So if you wanted to get that additional super attack in with that Mecha Frieza, you could have, but he just doesn't provide anything in terms of links, which is a bit of a shame, of course. But it's a shame that they didn't give full power Frieza Fear and Faith at the very least. But again, another scenario where we are going to have no problem super attacking whatsoever. And this is definitely the most consistent rotation by far. The other one does have its downside, but it does tend to work pretty well. And the Goten is going to come up with full power Frieza and Cooler, so that is easily the best rotation for those particular units. But for Goku Black and Omega Shenron, it really doesn't matter. You do have Omega Shenron with shocking speed, and I was running him in the first slot as a test. Oh dear. This is just bad key placement. And I was running him in the first slot as a test, and it honestly didn't work out too well. It was basically the same situation as just putting King Cold in that last slot. It just didn't work out too well, because he only provided 2 key, and you are missing out on a ton of damage output by keeping a Mega Shenron in that third slot. So it definitely is just worth going with what I'm doing, of course. But having, like, one thing that I will say is better than what I'm currently running is just having the boot in place of King Cold, and absolutely no problems running this team. Maybe even, I was about to say maybe then you could run Broly or Sin Shenron, but I think it's just safer to run 17 as well. Or something like that, to be honest. Again, it depends on what you have in your box, because there are definitely multiple units they can play around with. And again, I haven't even touched on the heroes. You can go ahead and run the heroes, because the heroes are going to be benefiting like massively from Goku Black's boost. Now that I think about it, it may actually be a bit more beneficial to run the heroes for some of you guys, just because the heroes are guaranteed to get a 150% stat boost, and you don't even need to bring units that can hit hard, just bring units that are providing support at the very least. Let's go ahead and grab these. As long as they provide a support, it's okay, because again, a 150% stat boost is still massive. Your villains are still going to be benefiting massively, of course. Like, it doesn't affect your villains at all, but it doesn't really affect the team that much at all, because your other heroes are still going to be getting that boost. And you may only want to run one, and again, that isn't going to be like damaging your team at all. We're gonna go ahead and take on Goku Black and end it there. But yeah, hope you guys have been enjoying the video so far. Been a lot of fun to run this team, and I may actually start to run it a bit more often or frequently, just because it's a fun team to run. I don't really run it on Japan because my Cooler is at Super Attack 1, but for the most part, it's a pretty fun team to run, just because you have to, like, I've said that so many times now, but it's a complex team when you don't have Cooler, because you have to rely on other units that you normally wouldn't use, which is something that I like. The best thing about this game by far is the team building, and because of the power creep, that, like, team building has kind of become a bit basic, but when it comes to this, that is where I really do, you know, start to enjoy the game. So let's go ahead and grab these. And what types of orbs does 17 actually change? I believe it's Rainbow or Tech. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of these then. So he changes Tech type orbs, which is fine. And I'm going to quickly mute my mic, so if I don't talk, I'm going to just get... Because I was talking for so long, my throat is just like kind of dying there. So I apologize. And King Cold there with a debuff. We should be fine here. Right, so now we have the other rotation. And keep in mind that you also have Omega Shenron debuffing with his passive. So this team is just, like, so insane. I can only imagine how good it is with a cooler lead, of course. But this may be a better team to run if you do want to implement more heroes, of course. Alright, so moving on to the last stage. I'm going to end it there. But yeah, I hope you guys did find this video useful. Especially if you do want to run an extreme physical team. To be honest, this video has been useful for me. And, like, after making this team, I'm just like, I actually want to run this team a bit more now. I'm going to go ahead and use another healing item. But the most important thing is that the team does its job. Like, without a doubt, the team is doing absolutely fine. In 3 events, I've used 2 healing items, and you have to keep in mind that the main events in the game are the Dokkan events. And as long as you can take out the Dokkan event, the team is doing its job. And I've made it to the 3rd stage with 2 healing items, which is awesome. And, of course, if you have units with potential system buffs, you're going to have an easier time than me. Because full barrel freezer at 100% in potential system is actually insane. And that is something that I did want to work on, but kind of focused on other units instead. So we're going to grab these with Goku Black, who is just absolutely amazing on global. I like him as well in Japan. I do have him maxed out in Japan, but he is he's not as great, basically. He's still good, but just not as good. I'm still surprised they gave him that buff. But it makes sense. They looked at Rose and like, you know what? Let's go ahead and give him that additional boost, because it kind of makes sense. And because Merger Masu wasn't exactly a popular lead in Japan, it just made... They basically made up for their mistakes, and they were just like, okay, giving Goku Black this passive is going to make this particular team a bit more usable with these certain leads. And I'm glad they did that, because they realized their mistakes, and they wanted to improve on what they did before, which is... I guess one of the benefits of global being behind. But yeah, that is the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it as always, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. If you want to see more videos like this for other teams, let me know in the comment section down below as always. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one.